Welcome back to Trojan TV. I'm Keaton.
And I'm Gabe.
So how were your 8 days in Japan?
They were great. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for a new cultural experience.
Sounds fun. Well, today we have more of our continuing coverage on the opioid crisis in northern Michigan.
And other great news and announcements.
But first, details about the upcoming student walkout.
Recent events involving a school shooting in Parkland, Florida have sparked a movement of controversy throughout the United States. Schools across the nation are participating in the 17-minute walkout on March 14th in support of the 17 lives who were lost during the shooting. We caught up with Paul Soma to hear TCAP's position on the issue.
Thanks, Mo. I'm sitting here with Paul Soma, the superintendent of TCAPS, to discuss TCAP's position on the upcoming walkout. So can you explain your position for the upcoming March 14th walkout?
What we do is educate students, and my position is that the time for school is sacred, and I believe students should be in school when school is going. So I don't want that to come off as being disrespectful. I certainly understand and respect at a high level student voice. But ultimately, as a superintendent of a school system, my preference is that students are in school for the day. Yeah.
So I would like to ask why high schoolers have more of a privilege than middle schoolers and elementary schoolers do.
How would you answer that?
I'm not a superintendent.
But you're a middle schooler, right?
Yeah.
And so you're in 8th grade, is that correct?
So I think this is a nationwide issue, and lots of schools are participating in this, and I feel like it's for all schools, not just high schools, even though this shooting happened at a high school, because like Sandy Hook, that happened at an elementary school. So
students of different ages have different responsibilities, and I mean, an easy example, when you're 16 you get to drive a car, but when you're 15 you don't. And we were talking about, you know, how to handle this situation if students decide to walk out. And a principal from an elementary school said they didn't really want this issue to be something elementary students were dealing with. That students come from a lot of different challenges these days, and there's enough worry that someone like a 1st or 2nd or 3rd grade student might not be able to grasp what it is that's happening, and might instill fear into that student. If you walk out of a classroom, the consequence of that at a minimum is a tardy or an absence from that class. Will there be any consequences beyond that? That's not the plan. I don't think there will be any consequences past that. I would only make one exception, and you know, this is a serious topic, and you're asking serious questions. Will all the students who partake in this do it for the right reasons? You know, what are the reasons that they want to do it?
probably to skip school.
Okay, so if some do that, is that you know, do you see what I'm saying? That's something that I have to grapple with too. But I don't foresee any extra discipline unless students misbehave. And so if there's a major disruption or kids or students use it to run around or make a lot of noise, then I think that they showed that they can't handle it, and there probably will be some follow-up. Now, if students are very respectful and are partaking in that message that's being delivered, I don't think there'll be any further discipline there.
Anything else you'd like to add?
How do we work to make sure that your opinion and your opinion, if they're different, get the same attention? Because that's our responsibility as a public school system. But outside of school, you have total freedom to express your First Amendment rights in an appropriate way. And so that's one thing I'd like to just add, and for people to consider that too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Great interview.
For students who feel strongly about standing up for gun violence, on Wednesday the 14th, report to the atrium at 10 a.m. to stand in silence for 17 minutes. This has been Morgan and Sam reporting for Trojan TV.
Thanks, guys. 8th graders going on the Washington, D.C. trip. Make sure you turn in your emergency form to Mrs. Mackey in room 513 as soon as possible. The Garter Car Derby is on Saturday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Come to compete or support your fellow Trojans. There will also be the It's Okay to Say cyber safety presentations on March 12th in the EMS gym for all 6th, 7th, and 8th graders during 1st, 2nd, and 3rd periods. Parents are welcome to join during any assembly time. Auditions for a talent show are complete, and the show is slated for March 14th at 7 p.m. The school performance for all students and staff will be on March 15th. Continuing our opioid coverage, today we look at the opioid effect in Traverse City.
The national opioid epidemic has now hit home in Traverse City. There has been 23 deaths in 2017 alone, and the number is increasing rapidly.
The opioid crisis in and of itself is very real. It's here, and it's our brothers, it's our parents, it's our kids. No one is immune to this problem.
We're losing a lot of our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones, and that's really really causing stress on our community.
Traverse City is already off to a bad start in 2018, with more than 4 heroin deaths in the past month.
It seems to be reoccurring. It goes in waves. We'll have periods of time where we don't have any overdose calls, and then there's days where there's multiple. So it was very eye-opening, and it's concerning. But this is happening right here in the community that I was born and raised in.
In only 3 years, the drug overdoses went up 540%, and police are trying to help everyone in this situation.
If someone's suffering from an overdose, time is of the essence. They need to call right away. Don't worry about cleaning up paraphernalia. Don't worry about getting in trouble. They need to call right away so we can get them the help that they need.
The Good Samaritan law in Michigan protects people of all ages who seek help for themselves or someone else in the event of overdose from alcohol or drug abuse.
There's been a few different calls that I've been on in which we believe people did not call 911 right away for fear of getting in trouble with law enforcement. And unfortunately, the most recent overdose call that I went on, a male subject did pass away after multiple doses of Narcan, CPR, rescue breaths. They didn't make it, and we believe that if help would have been called sooner, this person could have been saved.
Most programs like the Addiction Treatment Center and other rehab clinics last between 1 to 5 months and give family therapy, drug education, medical care, and other kinds of support.
Probably the most important thing that I share with people is that recovery is possible. We see a lot in the news about overdose deaths. We see a lot in the news about people really struggling. But every day we get to witness people getting better.
I just want people to know that they need to take care of each other. The opiate epidemic is bigger than law enforcement. It's bigger than just a mental health issue or a medical issue. It's something that is all-encompassing, and it's going to take all of us respectively to bring it back in and get control over it.
This has been Betsy and Lauren reporting for Trojan TV.
Thanks, guys. Trojans, remember, Tyler Thirlby and Ann Grizel will be coming to individual advisories every Monday during Oveas to talk to 8th grade classes about opioids. And to see our full documentary, Predator and Prey, we have a few upcoming opportunities. This coming Tuesday, March 13th, at 6:30 p.m. in the LMC, it will be shown, followed by a question and answer session with Tyler Thirlby and Ann Grizel. An email with RSVP sign-up was sent to all parents. Also, on Sunday, April 15th at 11:30 a.m., the documentary will be played at the State Theater, followed with a panel of speakers from the film to discuss addiction in our community. 8th graders will be visiting the Career Tech Center on April 6th from noon to 2 to learn more about the facility and class offerings. On April 24th, there will be an informational meeting about the TCAPS bond proposal at 6:30 p.m. in the EMS library. Show up to learn more about what's being proposed for the August election. NJHS is raising money for the Cherryland Humane Society. Here's Ted and Ryan with more on the story.
You ask people to sponsor you, family members.
Students in NJHS are running a March Madness Hoopathon to raise money to help the local Humane Society. What is the March Madness Hoopathon?
It is a fundraiser to raise money for the Cherryland Humane Society, where you can get people to donate money for every basket you make.
Cool. Where and when is the Hoopathon?
It is 1 week from, it is on March 14th in Advisory.
For more information, see an NJHS member or Mrs. Rogers. This has been Ryan and Ted reporting for Trojan TV.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Trojan TV.
Don't forget to check out all of our shows on our YouTube channel, Trojan TV East, and follow us at our social media accounts at EastDMC for updates on events in the school.
And for all things Trojan News, be sure to visit our multimedia website, The Link, where you can find extended coverage, photo slideshows, and more.
Have a great weekend, Trojans.
Bye.
Common Good Bakery, handcrafted on purpose, 14th Street, Traverse City.